Hey, everybody, welcome back to Half Hour of Power. I am Joe and Brandon. Are you here?
I am here. Yo, yo, Joe. What do you know? I see that Frankenstein behind you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know it. We are in Frankenstein. We are on our second one. And this one is, we're going to jump ahead really far, aren't we?
Yeah. We're gonna really what 70, 73?
That's right.
Hmm.
That's right. We're jumping up to 1973. No, everyone, we are not skipping the Universal Frankenstein movies or the Hammer one.
Yeah.
We are going to
Now that you
do
mention that,
those.
I watched that again this time.
Oh,
I watched it Curse of Frankenstein again. It was pretty good.
oh,
I
very
missed it.
good. Very good.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we are going to do Frankenstein, the true story, 1973 British television movie, loosely based on the novel.
Very, very loosely.
But before we get into too many other things and tangents, what do you think Rotten Tomatoes has to say about this?
Well, I didn't think Rotten Tomato even saw this movie. Or TV TV2 movie. Um, I'm gonna say it gave it a 50.
Critic score 50?
Yeah.
Nope.
What 25?
Wait. You know what? Um, there are two critics reviews on here.
Two?
One of them is fresh, and one of them is a mess. So 50, I would say, is correct out of the two.
Oh, nice. Told you
So there you
I'm
go.
getting there. I'm getting there.
So what do you think the audience thought of this?
Probably a 60.
Oh, you've
What?
been cheating, haven't you?
You lying? Is it 60?
67. Close enough. Close enough.
Honestly, I didn't think it was on Rotten Tomato.
After the 1910 Frankenstein wasn't there, I understand.
I mean,
I know. Once again, we have to say this: Rotten Tomatoes is a nasty, foul website because they did not have the 1910 Frankenstein on there.
nope.
Hmm. But since we did do the 1910 Frankenstein, and we are jumping so far ahead,
Not
I
that
was
far.
curious: what were there any Frankenstein movies in between the 1910 Frankenstein and the 1931 Frankenstein?
Yes.
What you looked them up, right?
Yep.
What are they? You remember?
Two was there's one with Lon Chaney Jr. and I think this is the Ghost of Frankenstein.
Nope.
Or was
I
it the
think
Curse
you've
of
got
Frankenstein?
your years are mixed up, Brandon.
Are they
you're
mixed? Too many
you're mixing
1920s, 1930s.
you're mixed up the years because I know what you did. So I mean, and I might have worded this backwards. So I mean, the 1910 Frankenstein comes out, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Was there any more Frankenstein movies made before 1931?
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to say yeah.
You would be correct. I did look this up.
Yeah, I want to say yeah.
According to what I found, there are two.
Is one of them Hammers?
No.
Oh,
So 1915, there was a movie called Life Without a Soul. It is considered to be a lost film.
Lost
It
Without a
is,
Soul.
yeah, Life Without a Soul. A, it is based on Mary Shelley's book. It is 70 minutes long.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So we'll never see it. it was reissued and re-edited, and there was apparently there was they edited in documentary footage detailing the reproduction methods of fish. So I, I don't know if we actually do want to see that, but anyway, just kind of interesting. There's one more, and this one has another debate going on about it for a while. This one is Italian.
Italian Frankenstein?
This one is 1921, and this one is called The Monster of Frankenstein. It is, of course, it is a silent film, of course.
Oh,
It is
nice.
loosely based on Mary Shelley's book. So there has been some debate about whether or not this actually is the first Italian horror movie or not.
Really?
Yes, they're just kind of back then they sort of lumped all that stuff and they used to call it the cinema fantastique. Yeah, which of course is a French term for um, the cinematic genre and the literary genre that encompasses science fiction, horror, fantasy, all things like that. So you see where they could say, "No, it's not horror. It's cinema fantastique." So that was interesting. I don't know. I did do a quick search on YouTube to see if there are any clips because a lot of these we've looked up. There are clips for some of those, not clips for Life Without Soul, but clips for this Italian movie. And the first search I did didn't bring anything up, so maybe I'll keep looking. Maybe that's a lost film also. Don't know.
Hmm.
Don't know. Okay, so had you ever heard of Frankenstein, the true story before?
No.
Oh, very nice. Let us see. We're not telling anyone what it's about. I know they're all chomping at the bit to know what is this Frankenstein movie about because as as we are finding out, they're about
1,000 Frankenstein movies.
not all about the same thing.
No.
Oddly enough. So here's the plot synopsis. When a brilliant but unorthodox scientist, Dr. Frankenstein, rejects the artificial man that he has created, the creature escapes and later swears revenge. Okay, so that is like the plot of the book, pretty much. And that does happen in the movie. Yeah, it does, but I wouldn't say that's what it's about.
No. No. Wow. Sometimes I wonder that when people are making movies and screenplays on, books, like, do you not read it? Because I mean, it's weird because like when we did Dracula and we read the book and you see the movies and some of the movies touch on certain things, but not the full picture or the full book, you know?
Yeah, and like we saw this past summer with the last voyage of the Demeter, you could take bits of the book and make decent movie out of it, and they did a decent job on that. We did a show on that,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I mean,
also
I
too,
don't know
Joe.
way they can't do that. What you're talking about, I've always wondered that myself. If you take, let's take a look at another book, shorter book. It's a Richard Matheson book. It's
Okay.
called I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
There are, as far as I know, there are 3 movie versions of I Am Legend.
Like 3 different names.
There are 3 very different movies. One of them is The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. The
Hmm.
second one is The Omega Man with
That's what
Charlton
Charleston Heston,
Heston.
right?
Yes,
Yep.
yes. And then, of course, the third one is I Am Legend with Will Smith. None of them really get it right. It's just weird. It's like, of course, I guess they're scared because, oh my gosh, look at that. Somebody came
So
and ripped your bulb out.
yeah, I'm having light issues right now.
That's all right. It's adding to the atmosphere.
I'm gonna just keep it off here in a
Anyway,
minute.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure people notice we are having some technical difficulty, but we decided to go ahead with the show anyway.
oh yeah, because
In
we love
this,
you guys.
and yeah, we really are excited to bring this stuff to you. So, trying to do as many movies, trying to tell the story of the book, and try to see out of the ones we watch which ones we think hit the mark the most. Um, so yeah, I just don't know. I mean, Frankenstein is
Uh,
Dracula's like a big book with all different points of view, all different parts of the story being told from a different. This one is not. This Frank. It seems like this would be easier to make into a
well,
movie. It's very. It's a little. It's way more straightforward. I mean, you got the wraparound story where Frankenstein is telling his story to the ship captain, um, and you kind of got the whole where the monster tells Frankenstein what he had been doing since
yeah.
he abandoned him. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So I just don't understand what's so difficult about it.
Well, the thing is that mostly focus on, and if you read the book, he never say how he creates the monster. It never
Yes.
display or say that in the book,
Yeah.
you know.
And
But
you could see if I put a link to the movie in the show, the 1910 Frankenstein show, that's the first version, and you can see how much of that movie is devoted to that.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, not a whole lot, quite honestly. Really?
I mean, it was what,
I
only
mean, you got
14 minutes.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the movie was really short. I mean, compared to the runtime, not a whole lot. I mean, you got the whole monster gets created, but
But I think they only focused on key things, though. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah. And then we jump forward to the 31 Frankenstein. There's kind of a lot devoted to the creation of the monster in that one. And then, the Curse of Frankenstein, the same deal. This one, Frankenstein, the true story. There's a lot devoted to that.
Yeah, I mean, with this, within the Frankenstein a true story, I did like. They did have his friend Harry in it. Um, certain things that I didn't like. That they call him doctor, and he's not a doctor. Um, but I mean, it's like his friend Henry was a totally different person from what you know in the book. It was like basically he was Frankenstein and Victor
Yeah.
was Henry. That's what it seemed like, you know?
Yeah, they do that sometimes. Sometimes there seems to be someone else that Victor latches onto who is already doing the work he is wanting to do, who's
Mm-hmm.
already doing all the research and the experimentation. And you're right. I'd seen a friend of mine years and years ago told me this was his favorite version of Frankenstein.
Really?
And I had read about it and seen stills, but I was like, I don't know if I want to. I was going to watch it because just like we talked about last time, I'm that way, and you are too, aren't you?
Yeah, but wow,
Yeah.
why would he say that?
I don't know. He really liked it. This has got some interesting stuff in it for a Frankenstein movie that is different from the rest of the Frankenstein movies. And you got to remember too, up to 1973, how many versions of the Frankenstein movies have there been? How many versions?
Uh, from
Countless.
looking up, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
looking up is a ton.
Yeah. I mean, even up to that point, there's a whole lot. I mean, just look at 1972. You got Dracula versus Frankenstein. You got The Curse of Frankenstein. You got Frankenstein 1980. You got Santos versus Frankenstein's daughter. You got Mad,
Yeah,
Mad, Mad, Mad Monsters, all featuring Frankenstein's monster. That's just 1972.
yeah, you got Frankenstein Monster from Hell, and that's a Hammer movie with
Yeah. Well,
Peter Cushing.
what year was that?
Yeah, I think 1974.
Yeah, so I mean, I was just saying that was like 1 year. How many Frankenstein movies featuring the monster? In 1972, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay,
Wow.
so
In
there's a
one
lot.
year?
Yeah, that's just 1 year. Those all those
Gee.
movies featuring Frankenstein's monster right there. Um, so there's been many, many. I did think it was kind of interesting the way they did it, where the monster was beautiful in the beginning,
Yeah, I liked that too.
and he he's reversing himself. Now, I figured he was going to reverse himself until he died, but
Ah.
it didn't seem like that was going to happen. But of course, the movie ended before we could see if that was going to happen anyway. So that's kind of interesting take. I'm not sure that any other take has done that. But
Um,
the other problem is with a lot of the Frankenstein movies,
mhm.
the majority of them is the doctor loves his monster,
Huh?
right? I mean,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it was kind of
and
a
not that.
mismatch.
Well, I mean, yeah, yeah, but I
It was
mean,
a hate and love
the
relationship.
majority of them, he's really pleased with the monster, and originally in the very beginning of the 1931 Frankenstein, you remember when he comes to life, he loves his monster
Mhm, mhm.
and he wants to help his monster, and he is not horrified by the monster at all.
Well, okay, so I rented the book again, and he's right. Like you said, he said my beautiful creation, my beautiful monster. And until he opened his eyes, and then his eyes had like this glowy kind of look in his eyes, and it kind of just freaked him out. But
Yeah, I
it
mean,
couldn't be
so
too scared because he went in his bed and went to sleep.
yeah, he just went to sleep. So I mean, was that the moment he realized, oh, I had made a huge mistake by bringing this back to life?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's
well,
kind of what I always thought.
well. I think like when he did with his monster was because he put Henry's brain in the monster.
Oh yeah, so in Frankenstein, the true story, yeah. So let's go and see. So yeah, he goes to school, right? So at the beginning of this movie, his brother drowns, right?
Yes, which was weird.
Which triggers his wanting to figure out why do people die? Why do they have to die? And can I use science to keep
Bring him
people
back.
from dying to cure all disease and illnesses and have people live forever so nobody ever has to die?
Yep.
Okay, I think we've all thought that and wondered if we could figure that out.
We all
So
wanted to be immortal.
yeah, so we all would want to. So, but that's not what happens in the book. I mean, I guess it works for the movie. So he goes to the school, and there he meets, as you have said, Henry Clavell, who is not really the Clavell from the book at all. Now, he is played by David McCallum, which I didn't realize this, that he was in it. I forgot he was in it. I forgot most of the cast because I hadn't seen it in years. But I remember the first time I watched it, I wasn't that impressed with it. I thought it was okay.
Hmm.
But I was like, it's okay. And my friend was like, what do you mean? It's the best version. I'm like, okay. I mean, you can. I'm glad I saw it. I mean, I'm never upset that I see a movie, unless it's Avatar. Then,
Oh my god! Thank God it's not a book on that.
yeah, but you see a movie and you see if you like it, and you can kind of see. I mean, this like we've already pointed out, this did have some interesting ideas and did a little bit different things. But David McCallum recently passed away,
Yeah, that
and
was Ducky.
he is probably best known nowadays for the NCIS show,
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty sad.
He's had quite a career. He's done voice work. He voiced Alfred in Batman Gotham Knight. He's done, let's see, I mean, he was in Babylon 5. He was in Sequest. He was in
Wait. What?
Frankenstein.
He was
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Babylon 5 and Sequest?
Yep. He was in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, the '88 version.
Wow.
He was in Matlock. Strike Force, King Solomon's Treasure. I mean, he's done a lot. He's been around a
Yeah,
lot, but he's
yeah. I'm gonna say
most
he did a lot of
yeah.
definitely. Um, Babylon 5 is my one of my favorite sci-fi shows.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. You go from Babylon 5 to The Outer Limits. It's in that.
Wow.
So the
I
guy,
just only did NCIS. That's it.
yeah, so I mean, he's got quite a career here. Just looking at everything he's done. I thought he was good in this movie. He's good.
Oh yeah, he's good. It sucked that he was having a heart. I would say a heart attack. I want to say I don't think that's what it was, but he was having a heart attack and he dropped that valve down that hole, and you could just see the expression on his face is like, oh, that's over.
Yeah. Yeah, he lost his medicine. So, um, yeah, so Frankenstein discovers that Clerval is looking and doing experimentation on corpses and trying to reanimate body parts.
So this is the thing that got me, and this was different from all the other, well, all the traditional Frankenstein movies that all do the same thing, but they didn't use electricity.
Yeah, he did not. He used they'd used the potions. They used I mean I'm it's not really potions, but chemicals. He used power of the sun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then later on, here appears Mr. Polidori, played by the great James Mason. And I did not like James Mason in this movie.
It was
I don't know. I mean, James Mason, there's another guy who has quite a great career, well known for a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, geez, just go all the way to the back, go all the way over here. Quite a lot. 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Of course, he's Captain Nemo
Nemo.
in that movie. He was a narrator in the Telltale Heart. He was in Julius Caesar. He played the
Dang.
1953 Julius Caesar. He played Brutus.
Wow, he has a
Um,
big old
I've
filmography
seen
here.
that. Oh yeah, he's been around a while. I don't know. Maybe it was just his character in this movie, but it just kind of, and I don't remember this happening when I first saw it. But
Okay.
where, excuse me, where he is Victor Frankenstein is working with Clerval to figure out the secret of life, reanimating corpses, bringing people back to life. They find out that Polidori is actually doing the same thing, but he's doing it differently. Clerval finds out that the process is reversing itself, but he dies before he can tell Victor. So Victor goes ahead and reanimates the corpse. Well,
What his brain, but yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, that's right. He took Clerval's brain out. Now,
Hmm.
I don't know why they choose to do this, but I guess they do this in all the Frankenstein movies. The brain they put in doesn't seem to ever remember where it was from.
And see, that was my problem because I thought that since he's putting in Henry's brain, that he will kind of, hey, what did you do to me type thing.
Yeah, so one of the Universal Frankenstein movies, I believe they succeeded in putting Igor's brain into the monster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Igor remembers who he is. And we might get to those later. Those are in a couple of the later Frankenstein movies, so we might do that and figure out exactly what that was. Just like we did with Dracula, we continued to did like 2 or 3 more Dracula movies after we were done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ones that were not telling the story of the book.
But also too,
But later on, when he got hypnotized, because that was Polidori's thing, he was like a hypnotist and could hypnotize you.
that was retarded.
Yeah, I mean, he had something in his hand, and his hands didn't work, but he had something in his hand that would just hypnotize you.
Well, you know why
And
his hands didn't work, right?
I don't remember.
Because he didn't have any.
He burned them off somehow, right?
Yeah,
Because he had,
one was cut off, and then one was like all skeleton, all like
yeah, yeah. Um,
I was like,
which
ew.
usually it's like, oh, that's cool, but I mean, I just was like, I don't know. I just thought that his character wasn't good. I don't think he was written that well.
I don't think
But
it's. I don't. It could have did without him. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Now he hypnotizes the monster, and he does bring out Claval's voice. He does say something because he calls Polydori. He calls him Polly Dolly,
Yeah, Polly Dolly, Polly Dolly.
and when he calls him Polly Dolly, he knows. Oh yeah, that is Claval. Look what he did to you. Now the monster is played by. I don't know if I've seen that much with this guy, Michael Sharzan. Cesarn. I'm butchering his name probably.
I've
Um,
seen him in some like British TV series. I haven't seen him in any like
yeah, he's
major
got.
things.
So I mean, he was in Fear.com. I saw that for some reason. That was
You watch Fear.com? I'm so sorry.
yeah, it wasn't a very good movie.
No.
He was in Earth of Final Conflict. He's in La Femme Nikita. He was in
There we
the
go. Yeah, now Earth
he was
Fauna
in
Conflict. That says Gene Roddenberry. There we go.
yeah. So he was in uh, 2 episodes of The Outer Limits that ran in the late '90s. He was in the Poltergeist Legacy TV show. You go into the Kung Fu Legend Continued, Ray Bradbury Theater. He was in that, and you keep going down, and you know, there's a lot. He's got a pretty good. I mean, he was in the Virginian TV show.
Well, you know Tom Baker was
Um,
in this too.
oh yeah, Tom Baker, the
Doctor
best
Who.
Doctor Who. And you know what? I should. I don't know. Do I have to qualify that now? Because the best Doctor Who of the original run. What? Who's better? John Pertwee? Okay, I'll accept John Pertwee's better, but he's not.
It's not. It's Tom Baker.
Who's better than Tom Baker? You gave me a look, Brandon, like I was nuts when I said Tom Baker was the best of the original run. You could go a step further, and I'm saying that because the only one of the new run that I've seen. Oh my gosh, his name is the first guy. What is his name?
Oh,
Oh,
Christopher Eccleston.
yeah, he is the only one of the new run that I've seen, and I've heard some good
So
things
you never seen
about
David
him.
Tennant?
I've never
Doctor Who.
seen David Tennant. No.
That's. I'll put it like this. David Tennant is one of the top Doctor Who's that I would say.
So would you say he's the best of the new run? Because I'm sorry, he's not better than Tom Baker.
Oh yes, he is the best of the new run because they even brought him back for the 60th anniversary. They brought him back
Well, of course they would, yeah. But
because he's the best Doctor Who. But he will be number
wait,
one.
wait, wait,
Then
wait, wait.
Tom.
Are you saying that he's better than Tom Baker? Because that's
No,
not
you said the
possible.
new run. I was giving for a new run.
Well, I was kind of being nice because I haven't seen any of the new run, but
Oh, see, you need to watch them.
now since you're wanting to do that,
Oh God.
there's no way any of those guys are better than Tom Baker.
Um, David Tennant is.
No.
Yeah.
And I've seen I haven't seen every episode, but I've seen a whole lot of episodes of the original run of all of the Doctors all the way up
Well,
to
I'm a Who
Sylvester McCoy.
fanatic, so I kind of know all the Doctors.
So
So
you've seen episodes with all
I
of them.
seen the very first Doctor from the '60s all the way up.
Well, then you know that Tom Baker's the
Tom
best of
Baker
all
was
of
a
them.
great doctor. I'm not knocking it
Tom
from
Baker
him.
is a great doctor.
He is a great doctor. He portrayed Doctor Who very, very
The
great.
best.
Very, very great. And that's why a majority of the newer doctors kind of imitate him more
Tom
than they
Baker,
imitate any other older doctors yet.
because he's the best.
He was the first original best doctor. Yeah.
And he's the best. And here we go. We went on a Doctor Who tangent on the Frankenstein show. And that is only because we have to note this. That's only because a doctor was in it.
Yes, even though he wasn't a doctor.
Yeah, he was a ship captain in this movie. And he
Yes,
wasn't
he
in it that
was.
he wasn't in it not in it that long, but you know,
Yeah, he was there.
they put him there. So Why did we start talking about him?
I just mentioned his
Oh,
name.
just because we're talking about the cast. I mean, it's got a pretty good cast. It's got,
Yeah, it's a great
we've
cast.
named a few people. Jane Seymour is in it also. She plays Agatha. We have, I mean, she also plays somebody other than Agatha, but man, that was a Sir Ralph Richardson is in it.
Now, one thing I
John
they
Gielgud is in it.
who? Oh
John
yeah, yeah,
Gielgud.
yeah, yeah.
Agnes Moorehead is in it.
I'm trying to think. Um,
And Leonard Whiting is in it, who is probably best known for the Romeo and Juliet.
no. Well, see, was it Jane Seymour?
Yeah, Jane Seymour's in it.
She plays like what
She
Agatha
she plays Agatha.
and
Now, I did like Leonard Whiting as Victor Frankenstein quite a bit.
Yeah, no, he was good.
And because I was thinking about this, because we did this for Dracula. At the end of this whole run that we're doing,
Ow.
are we going to then cast our dream cast for the best Frankenstein ever? Do we want to do that?
Yeah,
All right, because
because
so
I got two
far,
already.
I mean, so far, Leonard Whiting is up there.
Yeah, he was a great Frankenstein. Because you can
Of
tell,
course,
you can see it from, and it kills me because they have him like, oh, preppy and happy, and then you start to see his demise when he's freaking out
yeah, yeah,
and
he
he's
gets
confused.
yeah. So the monster, like we said, he starts out beautiful, and he looks at him. The doctor looks at him and goes, "You are gorgeous. You are beautiful." And he's like, "You're going to teach us everything that we should be knowing," because figures he's like the new Adam, right? Something like
Yeah,
that. And then when he discovers that he is not going to stay that way, he gets really sad and he cries, lets it all out. The monster catches him crying. Of course, he doesn't tell him why he's crying. I mean, I don't know what's he supposed to say to him. He's still like a child because he
right.
took him to a concert.
It took him to like an
Figaro,
opera or something like that.
Figaro,
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 Victor,
Figaro.
Figaro. Yeah. So how he discovers he goes back to the laboratory and he finds the arm. So there was a severed arm that Clerval was keeping alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that arm started to deteriorate, and Clerval locked that arm in a cabinet, and it got out. Victor saw it and goes, "Oh crap!"
It's reversing.
And that's when he notices his guy is reversed. Then he totally rejects the monster. Right? That now
Mm-hmm.
he's the monster, and he totally rejects him, and he does what he does in the book.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So,
What?
so that part, well, it, we need to get to the bride part.
Yeah, we're going right there right now. So I mean, that's when you have Polydori show up and totally flips, and he's a total evil genius for some reason. And I'm like, I don't know if I guess I had a hard time seeing James Mason play somebody like that, even though Nemo's a nutball. So
Oh,
uh,
he's a nice nutball though.
he's not very nice in
Well,
this, but
in Nemo he was.
well, yeah, that one. I mean, that's why I'm coming back to maybe I just didn't like the way Clerval was, not Clerval, Polydori was written. That's got to be it. I just so like, man, I usually like James Mason, but I don't like him in this. So either I'm going to go with the characters badly written. What about you, Brandon? Am I off on that? Was Polydori better than I think, or
No,
what? What's your take on that?
it was neat. He was not needed in the movie. Like that was my
Okay, so
whole
you
thing.
you would totally take him all out. Where
Yeah,
would
like
you
it
if
was no
you
purpose.
so if you have James Mason attached? Where would you put him if you take out the Polydori character?
I will put him um the sea captain.
Oh, so you want to take out the best Doctor Who and typecast James Mason just because he played Captain Nemo?
Hey,
Is that?
hey, hey,
Is that?
hey. Sometimes typecasting works.
I would put. I would put him as Victor's father.
I was gonna say that, but his father didn't have the much, no, not that much roles in it.
Not really, but James, he's got that right amount of oomph to deliver that. He's
Okay.
got that right amount of screen presence. What gravitas? Is that the
Or
right
he could have
word?
played,
Or
or he could have played the police officer, the constable.
he could have played the constable. That is
Yeah.
true. Constable turned off your lights. It's all right. We're having fun here, folks.
Oh yeah.
You're right. He could have done that. Let's get to the bride stuff. So
Yeah.
you go. So the monster runs off, and he goes and he sees Lacey. Lacey is the blind man who plays the fiddle, and he is played by Ralph Richardson, who is better known as God from Time Bandits, or better known as the Wizard from Dragon Slayer, or better known as the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt, or the Vault of Horror. I can't remember which one. But so Agatha is there, right?
hmm Well,
Agatha gets
well,
killed, right?
well,
What happens? Tell us what happens.
well. He took her from. So he killed the boyfriend or husband. He killed him, and then he leaves the old man in there. But I think she passes out or something happens with her. But he ended up taking her head because he had her head.
Wait, I thought he took her whole body.
Now he picked up her whole body, but when he went to Doctor Paladoi, he only had her head.
All right, so the monster rips her head off twice.
Yes, basically, yes.
Once on screen and once off screen.
Yeah, because he came with a jar and it had her head in it.
Oh, that's right. Oh man. So then Victor and Polydori put this woman back together, and they're all like, "Oh yeah,
She's a beautiful. Yeah.
she's the greatest. We're gonna name her Prima." I don't remember why. Why they name her Prima? I forgot.
Because she's a prima donna.
Yeah, she was. And Polydori just kind of worms his way into their life, the Victor's families, and Elizabeth, and he wants them to teach Prima. This is pretty much the My Fair Lady segment of the movie.
Well, he wanted to use her as a puppet to get all these rich people or rich bachelors and get
Yeah,
money
so
from them.
yeah, but they had to teach her how to be a lady and introduce
hmm
her into society so she could be married by the richest nutball there. And that
Yeah.
doesn't work because once she goes to the ball, this is the most important scene in the whole movie, right?
Yeah. It's the most funniest scene in the whole movie, to be honest.
This is where the monster shows up, and
Your
he's
mind.
all deteriorated, and he wanted to have her, but Polydori's even treating the creature badly.
Of course.
So
He got what he wanted.
that's when he rips her head off, right?
Yes. Well, it was so funny because she started hissing at him, like, classic
Yeah.
bride. But see, that's not even that don't even happen in the book.
No.
None of this happens in the
No,
book.
exactly. And then he rips her head off. He doesn't rip her head off in the book, does he?
No, Frankenstein does.
Frankenstein, yeah, but the creature doesn't rip her. So he rips her head
No.
off. Does he leave with the head and drop kick it? And
Hey, he threw it.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I just realized that. Yeah, he threw the
yeah. So all right. So is this where the pursuit begins, or we go to the ship next, right?
N- Um, yes. This is yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You go to
all
the
of
ship.
that's
Yep.
deteriorated, and Victor decides that we need to go start a new life in the new world, and
And it
they
was
board.
on her private family ship.
Yeah. So what? His father booked that ship, or her father, right? Because
No, yeah, her
it was
father booked the
weird because
ship.
everything was backwards because Victor's dad was gone, right?
Yep.
And it was her father, and he was adopted by. It was all backwards, but oh well. So that's a private ship booked for them,
Like
and
Dracula
guess
all over again.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So Polydori somehow is on that ship with his Asian servant, right?
I know one died.
One of them died, and he had one Asian servant because they did try to kill the monster. And Victor decides he can't kill the monster. He wanted to kill the monster, but he couldn't do it. So there was that whole scene in there. But of course, the monster's on the ship too.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, he
they
stowed
do,
away in one of the lifeboats.
yeah, they do kill Polydori on the boat, right?
Well, was it? Is it Elizabeth? Is that her name? They call her
I
Elizabeth.
believe her name's Elizabeth in this movie. You never know if they changed
I'm looking
that.
through the cast. I don't see Elizabeth on
Let
here.
me see. Yes, that is Elizabeth. Yes. Nicola Paget plays Elizabeth.
Where do you see that at? I don't even see that.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I see
Yeah.
it.
Screw.
I see it.
There you go.
Yeah, she set up Dr. Polidori to get killed by the monster by locking him in a room.
Yeah, because she knew he would do it. And he
Yeah.
does. Now,
And
there's,
well, he didn't do it right away because Victor ended up saving him and
yeah.
he ends up pulling uh Dr. Polidori outside. He's like, I'm afraid of lightning. I'm scared.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. He's just a badly written character. But
And then he just pulled him all the way up to the main staff and then
let him die, right?
yeah, that was weird. I
Yeah,
didn't get it.
but didn't Victor tell the people on the boat, like, but he's not going to kill you guys. He wants him.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to, I believe this is the first time in all the years they've been making Frankenstein movies up to 1973 that this is in any of the movies. And that is the Arctic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. You said Arctic.
So that is the first. Now, what happens in the Arctic stuff? Can you give us a rundown of that?
Yeah, so in the Arctic, so he was steering the ship north. So he wanted to go north and he plotted it on a map. And while he did that, remember he kills Elizabeth and she's with child. So he kills Elizabeth while Victor's passed out. When Victor wakes up, it's like everything's frozen. He comes out the ship, he sees people are gone, he just see all the snow everywhere, and then he sees his lovely dead wife already covered in ice. And then he started walking over through the Arctic and he finds the creature in a cave. They yell, they're talking, he screams, and
Finger
then he creates
roll.
a avalanche. And the only thing the creature can say, good job, Victor. Good job. I
Yeah,
was like, what?
they're frozen forever.
Yeah, and then with all the stock footage of glaciers crashing
Yeah,
and falling, and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. Now,
that
and
was the sad.
I didn't know this until we were watching this, but there's like two, maybe three cuts of this movie, and you watched like a 2 hour cut,
Yes, I watched the hour and 55-minute cut,
and I think I watched a 3 hour cut.
which I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and this was a TV show, TV miniseries that started off over 2 nights,
Well,
and
Well,
right?
even the Wikipedia on here,
Yeah,
I just looked it up. It says the runtime was 182 minutes.
yep,
So I guess I had missed what 30 something minutes of it.
yeah. You missed a lot. Yeah, so I mean, I found something that says it originally it was aired in two parts that was 2 hours long, but as you and I know, there were commercials.
Yes.
And
Well,
just
mine
just
wasn't, but yeah.
what I mean is when it originally aired, it had commercials. So if it's got a 2 hour running time, it's got maybe 30 minutes of commercials
Yeah, because
at that
what each
time. I
commercial is
mean,
like 5 minutes.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you cut it all down there, and then so that would make it 3 hours. That would make it 90 minutes a night without commercials. So the one I watched is on YouTube, and it's a 3 hour cut, and it didn't have any commercials in it. Now, I got to say this again. Remember, when we're talking about commercials, we're talking about when it first aired
Yeah, with commercials,
on
commercials.
television. So I think it's just my estimate. I think that the commercials would add up to about 30 minutes. So I don't think there is a 4 hour cut. I think that what I'm finding is not editing out the commercials.
Mm,
So you tried to watch the 3 hour cut, or did you get through it, or what?
no, because when I watched it, it was still the same thing.
Okay.
So
Now,
like the first
yeah.
beginning of it coming on, it was the same thing. Now, I do probably think they cut the part. I think they cut out a part when he went um to town and the guy got his arm injured. And when he first met Harry Cavill,
Oh, okay.
I think they had cut something out before that happened.
Okay.
And I think that's the part that I might have missed.
Okay. So now what you just watched it on? What did you watch it on?
I watched it on Prime Video,
Okay, and your cut was
1 hour and 55 minutes.
all right. So I mean, if you already have Prime, check it out there. It is on YouTube in 3 hour version. As far as I can tell, that is the original version, but it doesn't sound like it matters. So the other thing is the writers of this, they were not happy with the script, with how it turned out. So there is a tie-in novel. Did you read about that?
It's a tie-in novel to that.
Yeah, they published their original script as a tie-in novel. So that's kind of neat. I
No,
remember. You don't think that's neat?
no, they could have kept that.
What? I don't know if their original script would be better than what turns out. I don't
Because if
know.
they,
It's
I mean, if you, why would you do a tie-in novel to a movie that the novel that you're doing a movie of is not even fitting the novel that you're doing the movie of, you
well, I
know?
mean, I hear you in that respect, but the novel is a novelization of their screenplay. It's not.
I'm just saying.
It's not. I mean, maybe it should just be the original script that was published, but from what I understand, it was a tie-in novel. Um, and from what I found, there's not a whole lot different in it, but there is some subtle differences, and I don't think that would make it closer to the original book anyway. So just for you people that want to find that and read that, there you go. There you have that. Is there anything we missed about this one, Brandon?
Um, oh, that he brought bugs alive and they turned evil.
Yeah, he brought a bug to life and it turned evil.
Yeah,
That is right.
that was really
That's right.
like the butterfly started to attack Elizabeth. That was the funny part.
Butterfly is evil too. That was a weird. That really was a bizarre thing because she was just. He could have written that off as some kind of little magic trick, but she was straight up. That's just pure evil.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
unadulterated evil. Like, okay, all right. So would you recommend this?
I will recommend for people who are um, researching Frankenstein movies. This would be a movie that you want to sit down and watch and enjoy it. I didn't, but you might.
Okay, so you didn't like it that much either, huh? I
No,
didn't. I didn't like it that much either. So
I,
this,
I had to
in your
sit through
mind,
that.
doesn't follow the book very well, except for the main basic beats.
Kinda. I mean, kinda. I don't
Okay.
have anything else to say.
Okay, so I mean, I think the production value in this is pretty good. It is a TV movie,
Yeah.
and I think the production value in it is pretty good. For the most part, I did like the music, and I did find out that the score was done by um, Gil Millie. I may be saying his name wrong, but he did also score Kolchak the Night Stalker TV series.
Oh, nice.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah, I like Night Stalker.
For the most part, I did like the cast. I did not like James Mason's character. I have to keep saying I do like James Mason, but I do not like his character in this version. And no, to my friend, when he watches this is not the best version of Frankenstein. So
I, I think he was tired and he watched it and
you can be disappointed by
he
that.
was just tired. He was
But
like, oh, this might be a good movie. Let me just sit and watch it. Oh, it
uh,
is. It was
hey,
very entertaining.
I'm gonna say this: if you're tired and you watch this, you're gonna go to sleep.
That is so true.
You are gonna go to sleep. I mean, but you know what though, Brandon? If I did not know that this was a TV movie, I would have thought that this was a theatrical released movie.
Well, see, I didn't know it was a TV movie until I had to go look
Oh,
it up.
okay, okay. So did you watch it before you found that out, or did you find that out before you watched it?
No, I found out after I watched it. Well, I found out because when you said you want it was 3 hours, and I'm like, well, mine said only an hour and some minutes, and I'm like, what? And then finding out it was like this, that, and then you
Yeah.
tell me about it was a TV movie, and I'm like, well, that
Now,
explains a lot.
now let me ask you this: when you watched it, did you was there anything in it that while you're watching it, going, "Gee whiz, this must have been a TV movie"?
No,
Okay.
no.
Sometimes you can tell that it's a TV movie. Sometimes it's like this is for made for TV, and it's like
Yeah, it was just because I'm thinking of was it a low budget movie? So some low budget movies kind of look like a TV movie.
yeah,
I think we
yeah.
we did a movie, and I thought it was a TV movie, and you said no, it was an actual movie, and I was like, oh, well, that should just went to TV.
Yeah, yeah, it's I mean, the production values are good for this. They make it look good. All the money's on screen. So it doesn't look bad at all. Um, go ahead and check it out for yourself. As always, we believe you should watch something for yourself and form your own opinion.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is a lot of fun. Second Frankenstein movie down. Second October show down. We got a lot
yeah, it
more
is.
Frankenstein to cover, Brandon. So if people like what we're doing, what should they do?
They should like, subscribe, and also follow us on Spotify and iTunes.
All right. All right. We'll
Oh,
talk
and
to you.
hit the notification bell. See, I can say it this time.
You could say, oh, it's because the lights are on this time.
Yeah, I had to turn the lights on.
The bell went ding. So, all right. We will talk to you all next time.
Later, guys.